First of all, listen to a paid advertisement. People always think that the car's worth more money. However, some of the saddest and most memorable times in the motor trade is when I've valued somebody's car, I've realised there's something been wrong with it, I've HPI'd it and I've seen that it's a write-off, and the people were blissfully unaware that they'd previously bought a write-off car. A car that's been in an accident, was uneconomical to repair, the insurance company have paid the owner out, and the car's just gone for salvage. Now, these days, the motor trade, I'm a big advocate of Auto Trader. We'd be out of business if it weren't for them. However, lots of people advertise write-offs, and over the years they were advertising write-offs, and they were advertising them as if some are Cat C and some are Cat Ds. Also, you can get Cat C Thatcham alarms and stuff like that. So they got cleverer and cleverer, and sometimes they almost wrote the description of Cat C was an accolade, that Cat C was a prize in some show or something. It had won Cat C, not exactly like that, but it was like Cat C, and then they'd forget to put a comma in, so it'd be Cat C seat belts or Cat C alloy wheels, and they would put it in the advert without you actually know it, or without somebody knowing what it meant knowing. Now, my first recollection of this was long time ago. I used to go out with a girl, and her friend, who was a lovely girl, her mother was ill. She worked in a bank during the day, and then she had a barmaid's job at night to try and pay the bills for the house. She'd got a loan from the bank to buy a car. She didn't buy it from me, she bought it from somebody else. But after she'd had it a couple of weeks, I mean, she got the car because a bank was one place, the barmaid place was another, and it was taking her two buses to get there. So she needed a car, and it would pay for itself. So it wasn't a frivolous expense, it was something that she needed. Anyway, it wasn't driving right, and my girlfriend asked me if I'd have a look at it for her. So I took the car to work, got it up on the ramp, and underneath it was just a horror story. It was probably two cars welded together, and even in one place, whoever had repaired it had gone to the trouble of making kind of a tinfoil sandwich of filler wrapped in tinfoil, and then fasten it underneath where the sill should have been. The car wasn't safe, so she was trying her best to earn money, and I had to tell her, and I remember her bursting into tears. She didn't know what she could do. Her car was worth nothing. She'd got a loan for £800, which she was going to have to keep paying. So it's always been close to my heart. Not too long ago, I had to tell a young lady as well who had bought a Mini privately off a private person. There's more dealers working from home pretending they're private people than I don't know what, not paying tax or second jobs anyway. So she'd bought this Mini. I could see from my desk, I didn't even have to go outside. The whole front of the car was a completely different colour. Sometimes it's just a colourblind painter who's done it, and you can get away with painting it. But when I actually looked, the whole front end had been replaced, and very, very badly. We have a saying in the motor trade, it's like the welding's like bird shit, and it's just blobs every so often. Cars these days, the welds, they're designed to rip, so it's all part of the impact absorption process. Parts are designed to rip, welds are designed to come apart. So once all that's been done, in my opinion, it shouldn't be done. If there's anything structural, the car should just be crushed straight away. That's what should happen to it. Now what's happened is that there's all these auctions have come about, salvage auctions. Now I've looked, I did some research into this about 2 years ago, trying to find out and trying to put a case to Auto Trader so they wouldn't advertise Cat Cs in the same place as my cars. I mean, not too long ago, I've probably still got the photograph, we had a Porsche Cayman, and it was the cheapest on the internet, or cheapest on Auto Trader, or should have been, but there was one even cheaper. And when I looked into it, it was a Cat C write-off. It had been repaired and put back on the road. So when they came up on the actual page of Auto Trader or on the search, mine was second. And I kept getting people saying, you know, I've seen a cheaper one. They ring up and I'd say, mine's the cheapest on the internet. And he'd say, well, no, I've seen a cheaper one. Well, no, you haven't. That's a write-off. It shouldn't be on the, in my opinion, it shouldn't be on the road. So what I did with my first image, bearing in mind there was this other car above, it was a frosty day. So on the back of my car, I wrote Cat C with an arrow pointing upwards, and lo and behold, we sold our car the next day, I think. So that's all about advertising it and Cat Cs and people getting ripped off. There is so many people get ripped off. Now, there was a programme a few weeks ago on the BBC Watchdog which highlighted it, and there's Cat Cs, these write-off cars on dealers' forecourts, big dealers. Now, I'd like to think that a Cat C, Cat D wouldn't get past me because I've done bodywork in my time, I've been in the job a long time. We always check them, we always drive them, check the tyre wear, that's the first thing usually, if the chassis is out of line, anything like that. So we really study the cars. However, I've worked at dealerships where it's just been a job for the people. They've no idea, they don't care. They don't care what they sell, just so long as they've got a wage at the end of it. And in some certain respects, sales managers are the same. They have such huge targets, they have to move things over, and they don't want to know. I informed a big Mercedes garage that they'd got a car which had been clocked, and in all honesty, they weren't interested. They tried their hardest to put me off. So this is the motor trade. You think you're protected, but there are people out there that they don't care. The only time they care is if they get caught, especially with social media these days. So hopefully we've never been caught in the past. But this program that came out highlighted that there was big dealerships, big groups selling Cat Cs, albeit unbeknown to them. And that's ignorance, to be fair. That's no excuse, that's ignorance. If they've done a PDI, if the mechanics checked it over, sorry, not a PDI, if they've done a pre-sales check like we do, they should have known, and it should have been disposed of before it got to the forecourt. So this program, it gave a check. You can check these things on a website called VCheck. So we immediately registered. I sent the guy an email, told him that we wanted to join as a trader, and also wanted to be an affiliate so that we in turn could promote it and to our customers and to customers that don't buy vehicles off us, just to help them. It's these Cat Cs, Cat Ds, they need stamping out. The first thing that should happen is the logbook should be taken away. Nobody should be able to get a logbook that hasn't got Cat C or Cat D stamped on it after the car's been an insurance write-off. But this conspiracy theory, all these auctions have opened up now. I watched them religiously as I was trying to put a case to Auto Trader to not advertise them. They have put them in a separate section now, and you have got to tick a box, so you shouldn't get caught. But nobody wanted to give me the information, and I did some more research. These auctions, they buy write-offs and they auction them off for people to repair them. The only trouble is, like with anything, unless they are going to be checked meticulously when they've been repaired, then some are going to get through the system. They're going to creep through the system, and they're going to be very bad repairs. And believe me, I've seen some bad repairs. We had a chap come in wanting to part exchange a BMW. Again, the paintwork was the first sign. Lifted the bonnet up, one of the chassis legs had been welded, don't want to know, got inside, and none of the warning lights lit up. Now, they've either taken the bulbs out, and just out of curiosity, I got my scanner, plugged it in, all the airbags had been deployed, there were no airbags in the car. All the seatbelt pretensioners, they'd been deployed. It would have cost thousands and thousands of pounds to replace the airbags and to do this thing. They hadn't done it. They bought it as a write-off, painted it up quickly, put second-hand panels on probably, and then it was back on the market. Shouldn't be there. So back to VCheck. So I immediately advertised, we check our cars on VCheck. They give you photographs of what the car was like when it was damaged. They check via chassis numbers and so on. I've not totally gone into it, but it's such a good thing that everybody needs to check the car. So gets a live chat. Do you check your car on VCheck? Yes, we do. What username do you use to log in? And then it soon became apparent this was the owner of VCheck, and he'd obviously seen our advert or been told about our advert that we check our cars on VCheck, and wanted to make sure that we do, because there are actually some people apparently claiming that they check their cars on VCheck and they don't. So I mean, the mind boggles. Are they buying write-offs, pretending that they're not, pretending they've been checked on VCheck so you don't have to? It's just horrendous. Anyway, had a long chat with this chap. We'll be doing business in the future. I believe there's other programs coming out, and good on them. But in the meantime, whether you buy it from us, if you know, I mean, I would suggest, don't trust anybody. If you're buying a car, don't trust anybody. We HPI them, we do them on VCheck. It costs you $5 or $10 to do it again. What's the harm? You know, you're just going to get peace of mind for $10. The VCheck, you can get everything done on the VCheck, and I can't remember how much it is, but I mean, I'll try and see if I can get a deal off him for our customers. You never know, we might be able to. But make sure you check your car if you're buying it, especially if you're buying it privately. There are so many people out there. I mean, funnily enough, again, a few years ago, we used to sell Corsa SRs, Corsa SRIs, and stuff like that, like shelling peas. They were so easy to sell. I used to scour the paper every single night looking for them. And I saw one, I rang the guy up. Is it a nice car? Oh, it's lovely, you know, you'll not find anything wrong with it. So I drove to Manchester with my mate, with the money to go and buy it. And I didn't even have to get out of the car. The front end of it was like so. And it had obviously run into the back of something, and they put new wings on and a new bonnet and a new front, but the chassis legs in it was bent. So I said, well, thank you, but no thanks. And we also had an advert, we buy cars, you know. A couple of weeks later, I got a telephone call from a chap. I've got this white Corsa SRI. Would you buy it? Yes, I would. So it brings to show me, and lo and behold, it's the car which I'd gone to Manchester to see. So I said to him, how long you had it? Well, just a few days. I do a bit of wheeling and dealing. So, well, you're not very good at it because you've bought a write-off. You know, I don't want to know. Thank you very much. And that's what he'd done. He'd bought the car, not knowing what he was doing, and then probably found out that it was a write-off, and then he was trying to stitch somebody else up with it. Make sure you check your cars. Only takes 10 minutes. You can do it online now. It's not as hard as it used to be. It's a lot cheaper. There's plenty of companies. We do have links in our web store. You can use us, but make sure you check them. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll try and do a video of what to look out for when I'm not so busy. The first things to look out for: paintwork, what checks to do, and try and help everybody along the way. Let's try and get rid of these unscrupulous dealers out of the motor trade. Thanks to VCheck, we've got another rung up the ladder. Thanks very much for watching.